Okay. Hello, sir. Hello, Govind, sir. Welcome to my podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, Rogan. Uh, I'm very glad to meet you and thank you from my heart for this opportunity. Uh, I'm really delighted and great to meet you and also for availing this opportunity. Yeah,
It's my pleasure, sir. My pleasure. I have
thank you.
seen you writing on LinkedIn about language translation tools, career in translation, and also I have found that your posts are very insightful for someone who is in language domain. And I have recently started, writing and doing podcast about career related topics, about particularly areas of non-technical careers, which are related to language, humanities, social sciences, etc. And I am also from a language background. I have done my BA and MA in French from JNU, and I've been working with the company for the past 3 years. I've worked
Okay.
with multiple companies, but currently I'm working with a company. It's in Gurugram. It's a multinational company. So I thought that it would be a very great interactive, session if I take you on my podcast and you enlighten the newcomers about the career options in languages, foreign languages in particular. And for your knowledge, I would like to tell you that last week I concluded a hosting session, an event on LinkedIn, wherein I answered some of the queries of the people that they have about language careers.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was a very interesting session. I answered to the best of my knowledge, but I would like to start from you. So basically, first, I would like for the viewers and audience, I would like you to tell us a bit about yourself, how you started language, career in language, how you started working as a language translator, what is your background, what is your expertise, so that the audience can know about you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so telling about me, actually, I am working in Chennai. I have worked in multiple organizations. When talking about my career, actually, I am basically an electrical engineer, triple E.
Oh, wow.
So after doing engineering, I used to work in small jobs like English coaching
Mhm,
and in Vivekananda Institute, which is now called Vita.
mhm,
Then I joined a BPO KPO type company for patents, English patent abstraction in 2004. So after 11 months, I came to know that there is going to be a French patent abstraction team going to be started. And I also was learning French just as a hobby through one of my friend, can't say friend, he's
mhm.
a senior doctorate person with multiple skill, multifaceted personality. So I
Okay.
was learning French, and in the meantime, uh, this was happening in the year 2005.
Mhm,
I started my full time career in 2004,
mhm.
and in 2005 it was happening. So just like a hobby and time pass, I joined Alliance Française in 2004.
Oh,
So it became a regular thing. So I completed first 4 months course, then intermediate 4 months, then diploma, and I wrote French B1 and B2 exams somewhere between 2005 to 2007. So actually, I did some 18 months course
okay.
in Alliance Française, and also I became a French patent translator in my first BPO job, in my first job.
Mhm.
So that is how I became an accidental French resource and translator, because
Nice.
basically I'm a electrical engineer. Uh, that is it. So after, from 2005, I have worked in Chennai. I worked in one big MNC in Bangalore.
Mhm,
Then I worked near Chennai. Now also I'm working in Chennai.
mhm.
So I have worked approximately 4 or 5 organization as a French translator in a full-time job. That is about my full-time thing. And apart from that, out of my passion, my Trados, I started using Trados shadows in the year 9. So that also became my hobby and passion. A passion turned freelance thing. Even though cat tool doesn't have a big uh, market or acknowledgement or recognition in India, I'm always driven by my passion towards cat tool. So that is about me.
Oh wow, that's very interesting, sir. You are a professionally you are an engineer, but then you pivoted somehow to becoming a language translator, and that too very qualified translator who uses CAD tools and Tratos, which is very an specified area. Not many people who know language know CAD tools. So that is
Mm.
one of the very specialized areas in which you're working. So that's quite interesting for many people like us. So, sir, I would like to ask you, how have you seen the changes from 2005 onwards since you started working in the language domain? What has been the changes in the field of job and career-related options in the field of language? What have you noticed in terms of changes? Was it positive? What do you see the future? How it is going to be in the near future?
Okay. So I have limited knowledge. Uh, so with whatever available knowledge, I will share my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
See, whenever people come to study any foreign language, for example, French in Alliance Francaise or German Institute or wherever, normally people take uh, two types of job. Generally, either they go for teaching or else they come for translation. That is it.
Yes.
And mostly, if you go to Alliance Francaise, you would see majority of learners would be girls and women. Men were less in those times because I used to be a student in Alliance Francaise of Chennai between 2004 to 2007. It has been already 15 years. So now the trend might have changed, but what I noticed that time that I'm sharing now. So generally, in translation field, in language learning field, I see the contribution of women learning as a student and also as a translator in a company, and also freelance translator, that is housewives who are working as freelance translator, and housewife who became a home-based uh, one woman agency, apart from one woman agency and everything. Those things are there. So generally, it was like very narrow, either a teacher or a translator. That's all. So in that time, and 70%, we can say, if there are 100 people studying, 70% would opt teaching because it is considered to be a safe option, and also they would be able to get permission from parents. Now, actually, people have more liberty than 15 years ago. So teaching was preferred most. But nowadays, we can see language, foreign language students who are learning from Alliance Francaise or from college, doing graduation, then going into internship, freelance thing, working in full-time job, interpretation, and working as a, tourist guide. And a lot of people are not restricted to just teaching. Now we can see that both the men and women, in particularly women, because they had a lot of restriction, but now they are able to go into various fields. Sometime even customer support uh, for foreign client or local client through French, something like that. So not only teacher but also translator, interpreter, and also sometimes even in banking services, sometimes a translation is needed in some banks, and you can see a lot of freelance translator are women, and they are working from home, either part time or full time, something like that.
Right. So the opportunities are abundant, and mainly women work mostly, in the early days, and even now, as we're saying, that for women it's a great career opportunity. They can work from home. They can work at the ease of their home. They can launch their own entrepreneurship, their own institute or translation service like company. I was, when I was hosting the last event last week, I was asked by one of the students that, sir, given the fact that new softwares of translations are coming in the market, Google is enhancing the translation capability of its software. Many new companies have come up in the market with enhanced translation tools. So, what do you think will be the need of translators 5 years, 7 years down the line? So, they were very pessimistic about career as a translator. What is your take? What do you say?
Okay, okay. So your question has two parts. The first part about the technology, that is CAT tool and machine translation system.
Right.
So it is growing at a very slow pace, at a steady pace, but still people fear that because of machine translation or because of CAT tool, will human translators be replaced? No. At least, for example, I am watching this field, though I am a translator from 2005 as a French translator. I am watching this field at least from 2010 because I started looking for a little bit freelance in 2011, and also I kept watching the market slightly. And CAT tools are there since 1995 when Trados, somewhere in 90s when Trados was formed, and later it was acquired by SDL.
Right.
So even if we consider the year 2000, now it is 22 years, the progress is good, the improvement is good, but still, and machine translation system. Remember, CAT tool and machine translation system are totally different. Very often, people are confused between MT systems and CAT tools like Trados.
So, for the audience, can you please specify the difference?
Okay. So, people have varied myths and sometimes half-baked idea sometime about the translation. The main thing is machine translation is a totally different system, and machine translation doesn't mean only Google Translate. There are in-house machine translation system. There are corporate in a bigger company. Some machine translation system are installed within the premises, unlike using Microsoft or Google type of machine translation system. And not only that, in the recent 2 or 3 years, there have been few browser-based online CAT tool from Indian companies. Okay. So they are a kind of CAT tool backed by machine translation, along with the additional feature like glossary, terminology lookup, and everything. So the main thing is machine translation will be 100% automated translation. Everyone would have used Google Translation. It will be meaningful sometime. It will be meaningless and stupid sometime. But a CAT tool is like, for example, if you are keeping on saving the money, once you accumulate a particular sum of amount, you will go and deposit in a bank to keep it safe. Like that, a CAT tool has a brain called a translation memory. We are consolidating all our work in a CAT tool. So what is the advantage? For example, if I am starting as a newbie translator, I will be able to translate 1000 words or 1500 words in a duration of 8 hours. But if I use a CAT tool like SDL Trados or any other CAT tool, because I have consolidated my past work, I would be able to refer the past work very faster. So from 1500 to 2000 or 2000 to 3000, our productivity will increase from 20% to 50%. So do not get mixed up with machine translation and CAT tool. Though inside Trados, you'd be able to use SDL machine translation or Google machine translation or any other Amazon machine translation. That is extra. optional case. But CAT tool is computer assisted translation. It is 100% human translation that is saved in one place called translation memory, whereby we are building a huge translation database for reuse and building a linguistic translation database. Not only for reuse, it is a linguistic asset for a translator as well as translation company.
Right.
So machine translation system is different, and though it has advantages as well as disadvantages, and also CAT tool also has advantages and disadvantages. We have to be very clear about the advantage, cost factor, and various factors that impact the decision in implementing anyone.
Right. So basically, when people express their doubt that the monies that in the near future machine translation will eat away the jobs of a translator, so that is not coming in the near future, as according to you.
So whatever big company, let us say SDL, because the SDL company produces the Trados software, and SDL was acquired by RWS. Now it is called RWS Trados. So RWS and SDL are one of the world's leading content publishing company, apart from Google and everything. So Google is also one of the leading or number one company in the world. All these companies have their own MT system, static machine translation as well as neuro machine translation, and they deal with post editing. So MTPE, machine translation post editing. The main idea is, for example, if I am a fresh translator without a CAT tool, I'll be able to translate 2000 words. If I implement something like Trados, I'll be able to do 3000, or in rare cases in my familiar domain, I can do up to 5000. Now, the concept of MTPE is there are various trained systems. There are a number of companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Custom.mt. There are lots of companies. And also there are open source MT systems available that anyone can install and learn it. But people should have basics about the Linux, Python, and those kind of things. I also started a little bit exploring. Anyway, I couldn't go deeper due to time constraint. So I keep exploring. So the main thing is, even though these big companies are promoting machine translation system, the main idea is MTP. That is, they do the machine translation followed by post editing. It's translated, post editing will be done by human translator. So now, instead of I using a Trados and doing 3000 words per day, if they say we have machine translated with a well-trained MT system, now can you post edit? That is, it is translated already. I should post edit. That is, I have to check the correctness of translation, and if it is wrong, I have to make it correct. That is post editing. That post editing is done by a human translator, a professional translator. So the main idea is to increase the productivity through implementation of machine translation and do the post editing by the human translation. For example, if 10 translators are translating 3000 words per day each, so 3000 into 10, it would be 30,000. Now, let us assume by using MTPE, sometimes there will be difficulties, sometimes it will be easy for certain domain, certain MT would be easy. MT systems are trained with a large amount of data for a particular language pair, for a particular domain, and particular type of content. So sometimes it may work very good for marketing and very good for technical, but for literature it may not work. Even CAT tool is not considered good for a literature or poetic kind of things, because we can't do a literal translation, or even for a subtitling. Subtitle software would be better like that. So even in trained system, if they are going to use MTP, can we achieve a productivity of 5000 per translator or even more than that if it is a well-trained system with fed with a lot of billions and billions of words and lines. So that is the idea. It is not going to replace the entire human translation, be it any company to small company. It is going to enhance the productivity, but there may be a change. Instead of 15 people, some company may have only 10 translators because the 10 can do more with the MTP. That is the idea. So far, it is not going to totally 100% eliminate the human translator and going to implement MT. That is not the case as far as I know. I may be wrong also because science may grow at a very drastic pace, but in the last 15 years, it is the case. And I also have seen people who have been in data science and MT system. They also have commented that I am watching MT system for the last 25-30 years. The growth is only at a very slow pace. It is not going to replace human translator. That is the idea.
Okay, so this is very interesting for me because when they were asking questions about whether translation tools will take over the jobs, I was also very pessimistic about it. I said, no, this is not going to be 100%. Maybe they will be able to enhance the productivity of the translator to a great extent, but replacing human translator is not possible for machines because the contextual part is missing in the machine. They cannot understand the context in which the word is being used. So I also had similar thoughts, but I was not aware about the post-editing concept which we just spoke about. So that is quite interesting.
So in that case, just I want to add one more line. So you are also, so if we say I am a good boy in English, and if we try to translate in French, so that good adjective will come before the noun in English, but in French it would come different, right? And it varies according to the gender, beau, belle, like that, for beautiful or whatever adjective. So if you try to translate a simple sentence to French in MT, sometimes you would get very good output, but many of the time you would get very meaningless output. So you would have tested that, because French shows that better. French is also considered best for MT system, but when we involve complex adjective or 2 or 3 adjective, then the MT system would get confused, at least the free MT system that is there. And about the CAT tool, so I want to add one more point. For example, normally I used to do 2000 words. By using Trados, instead of taking 7 hours or 8 hours, sometimes I can finish the 2000 in 3 hours or 4 hours. So that is one side. And one more best example is once during my freelance, I received a 8,000 word file. I was working with this client for quite some time, say some 20-25 projects. So my TM has built, it is a specific legal domain. My TM has already built by working in 10-15 projects. So the moment I put the file and created the project, 2000 words got automatically filled. And I completed the another 3000. So 2K filled by Trados, I completed 3000, 2 plus 3, 5000. The remaining 3000 were repetition, it got filled. So in 7 hours, I finished 8000 word without tiredness, frustration, and saturation. Anyway, I stopped that day. Next day, one day, I did the proofreading and self-review and delivered. So the main thing is, if you are going to type very hard with the keyboard and going to type more than 2000, 2500, certainly you will feel the tiredness, your fingers will be paining, you will feel the frustration. But when you use that technology, we can say it is a smart work. By saving all the TM, reuse it, refer it, reuse it. That is the main idea. To say more, let us say today I'm going to translate. My name is Govindarajan to French. Okay, Jamabel Govindarajan. So tomorrow, if I get the same sentence, it will be automatically filled. Tomorrow, if I get a sentence, my name is Rohan. So it will show a fuzzy match. Jamabel Govindarajan. So delete Govindarajan, type only Rohan. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I get something like my name is Kavita or my name is Nirmala. So now it will show Jamapel Govindarajan. So delete Govindarajan, type only Nirmala like that. This is a simplest example. Now consider in bigger level, and somewhere if you had translated Kavita and Nirmala, the name or anything, traders will try to get the translation Jamapel from here and translation of Kavita from somewhere, and it will substitute. That is called fuzzy match repair in traders.
Right.
So little by little, it will help like anything. And let us say this line, my name is Govindarajan, is repeating 10 times in my current file. I translate once, the remaining 9 gets filled. And at the 9th occurrence, I changed the translation because there was a mistake. For Jamabel, Apple, instead of double L, I put singular. I changed it. 10th occurrence to first occurrence get automatically become auto-propagated, constant. Because without a cat tool, initially you would have put some translation, later you would have put another type of translation. After one day, you felt, oh, this is not the way I did mistake, I have to change. You would change later phase of the file, but not in the first part. But when you use a cat tool like Trados, you change at the 10th occurrence or 100th occurrence. 100th to first occurrence will be automatically made consistent. So your consistency improves, your productivity improves, you are building a language database, translation database. Let us say I'm working 40,000 words per month, 5 lakh words per year. All these things are put up in one place called a translation memory. All my French English translation are put in one TM. So without a cat tool, you would have 50 project, 100 project, 100 folder, 100 files or 200 files. It will be scattered. You are consolidating. That is why I said accumulating the money and depositing in bank. Nowadays, I don't know people deposit in bank or no, but the concept is we are putting all our translation in one location, that is TM of a cat tool. So it is always helpful. Though there are some disadvantages, it is certainly helpful to give a better picture for the translator.
Okay. Okay, great. It's really very enriching for me also hearing you, because once in my previous company, I did use the cat tool for about 15 to 20 days. But the project which was supposed to come for the French language did not somehow, get started. So later on, I did not use that translation tool. But I think it's a great, it's a great software where you keep putting your hard work and it accumulates over time as a translation memory. And later on, when you get similar sort of text, it automatically translates majority part of the document, and you just have to re-edit it or do some changes, and it is done. So that's one of the things that I think it's going to be very useful for someone who's trying to build a career as a translator. Apart from the translation tool, I would like to ask, what do you think is required to become a translator who uses cat tools? So, for example, in my opinion, the understanding of target language and source language both are important. You need to be good in English as well as in French so that you can identify the inconsistency in the translation, right? Then I think it is also important that you are aware about the domain of the text. So at one time, I received this translation project in which the translation was majoritarily related to telecom sector, which I am not very, experienced in that domain. So how would you think that a generalist, someone who is from a pure language background, and someone who has a background in commerce or in mechanical engineering or in science or something like that, so what do you suggest? Uh, what do you suggest in terms of having as expertise? Who is at a better position to become better translator? Someone who's into purely language, French language background, or someone who has cross-sectional expertise in commerce or in science? What is your opinion?
Okay, it's a good question. When talking about specialization, so generally we have a mindset different from the international market. For example, Let us take CAT tools or interpretation equipment or dictation software. A lot of things are used by international translators, people outside India in European and American countries. And they also have proper translation association. Here there is no translation is an industry, but not very much under a government body so far, except for Hindi or something. It is a quite a unregulated sector where there are a lot of people are working. Nobody knows the exact count of translator and the companies that is working. And there are a lot of one-man agencies that is run from home. So we have quite different environment when compared to the international translation industry. When we compare the international translators and Indian translator. And when we talk about the specialization, people outside India, what I see from LinkedIn, they are properly doing language studies, translation studies, or even post-graduation studies. And even they study something specific to CAT tool technology, or else they take some course in some institute or something like that. Anyway, I agree that I am also an accidental translator because I am an electrical engineer. I accidentally became a translator by studying French course in Alliance Française and by taking a translation course in my first company. I attended a course, I cleared the exam and became translator. So even I am not a very systematic translator. I am an accidental, like accidental actor. I am also an accidental translator only. So the main thing is the specialization plays a key role when we talk about the international translator. But in India, be it freelance or in full-time job, generally, let's be more focused toward freelance. We are expected to deal with any domain. So here, people, the companies, very few companies may ask about our domain expertise. Otherwise, here we are expected to deal medical, legal, technical, every domain, which is not possible. For example, when I talk to my fellow translator or newbies, I say I am a translator for 70 years. I have translated more than 80 lakh words. They say you must be an expert. I tell them I am only a student. Even now, I explore Trados. I started exploring Trados in 2009, October. That is November. That is when I started using Trados. Even now I explore Trados, not only Trados, other CAT tool, other MT system. Even I explore Python a little bit. I also installed Linux to go and study about the Python and other machine translation program. I'm amateur. I'm a kindergarten student. I keep exploring. So the main thing is here, people are expected to handle all sorts of domain. That is not the case. For example, I have been a translator for 17 years. I have done 80 lakh words, but these were mostly about technical field. Being an electrical engineer, initially I worked 3 years in patent translation. Then I worked in some insurance domain as a customer support, something like that, a minimum customer support, network support. Then after that, I came to automobile and IT-based translation. Then again, next job also, it is banking-based, IT-related translation. And then also it is automobile-based. And for the last 5 years, I'm into some banking-related database and IT system only. So even though I worked 17 years, my expertise is mostly towards patent, technical, engineering, little bit of banking type of database and banking system, those kind of thing, slightly finance. If you ask me, do I translate medical? I say a big no. So the thing is, here, when a company approaches you, they don't see the specialization of a translator. On one side, there are not many courses. There are some 15-20 institution, colleges and other institutes that provide translation related courses. Even I asked input from various translator across India in my LinkedIn network, and I published a consolidated list. It was a new information to me. So we can say that there are some 20-25 colleges across India that provide language studies. Everyone knows JNU and other this and yeah, Pondicherry University, like that. And there is the MA in Bangalore, like that. So the thing is, translation is a kind of unregulated industry. There are not too many translation related courses to be for people to take it up and properly study the translation uh, and CAT tool or anything. I have even spoken with some of the MA translation students. They said we studied in college, they would give some assignment, we would do the translation, that's all, but they don't have idea about the CAT tool. So the CAT tool studies this and that, it is not taught in college as far as I know. So they just said we are just doing some translation, sometimes they would check it or not, it is like that only. So the main point is the channel of getting specialized and doing graduation, post-graduation, CAT tool studies is very systematic outside India. When we compare that scale to here, it is very limited. You know, we are a country of 132 crore and we have only maximum 25 to 30 colleges apart from the institute. Apart from some other private institute that may offer this thing, like Alliance Francaise or other institute. So the possibilities of doing a very systematic study becomes very limited, considering only 2030, and we are a widespread country. And we also have a limited institution and also lack of knowledge. So this is the barrier to go on a systematic channel. So this barrier stops people from proceeding. And also translation is now getting better known. Mostly we would say after this lockdown started, a lot of people wanted to become translator because they thought it is a pure white collar job. By sitting at home, I can earn 50,000 or 1 lakh. Maybe they might have been influenced by fake influencer in LinkedIn. It's not a so data entry job or like that. I have many people contacted me and asked, do we have any job? What was my reporter job is gone. I want to try translation. I'm into some other journalism field. I want to try something. I'm into this field. I lost my job. I want to try translation. I said, do not try translation. Do a proper studies. Either you do a college study. If not, you do a institutional study. Go to some institution and do some study about this thing. Like Alliance Francaise has a French course. They used to have a translation course for German also, got the institute. So wherever you do a proper study, or else if you can't go, find a senior, find a professional translator and mentor. You get trained like that, then come to translation. Don't think that I don't get data entry job. I lost my ex job. I want to try. So these type of things increased during the lockdown time because there were too much of job loss. And after the job market started picking up, thankfully, fortunately, these things reduced. I also got very worried. Already, translation market, the rates offered are very low, and freelance translator income is very inconsistent. 1 month they may earn 20,000, next month they may struggle to earn 5,000. So it is very pulsating, and also the payment is made 15 days, 30 days, or even 90 days after the invoice submission. So already the market is very unstable and unreliable. And when people like from other background without proper practice, they try to come, it will become still more pathetic. But luckily, people went back to their original jobs. So so for your question, we have limited options only available to be in specialization, and translation is not very much recognized. We have little bit market, we have few companies, but if you want to try to list down 20 big translation companies or 50 big translation companies in India, I do not know, maybe you would know. And if you see the amount of money spent on CAT tool, technology, grammar checker, spell checker, these are all required for language thing. If we say we are lacking a lot. Very often I used to say in my post that we are lacking the international community by at least 20 or 25 years. See, in IT, we are on par with any country, be it America or anything. But when we talk about the translation industry, we are lagging behind the Western world by 10 to 20 years because our people, they use Microsoft MS Office or any text editor. They don't consider using a CAT tool. Okay. So when we talk about CAT tool, the budget is high, expensive. Some may not be, many people may not be able to afford because every CAT tool costs approximately $500 to $900. So for a freelance translator, it may be a big budget. So that's why I kept on promoting the Omega T because Omega T is a free and open source software. So I conducted courses at a very low price, and even I have published a free Omega T course of 15 minutes duration in my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, Cat Tool Guide. So I have published some 20 videos about CAT tool in my channel, Cat Tool Guide. That is my website name also, cattoolguide.com. So I have published Omega T course and a subtitles like that. So there was a gap in the publishing. Again, I'm going to resume very soon. So the main thing is, see, if you are concerned by the budget, certainly you would be, being an Indian. If Trados is not affordable, one can think about mid-range tool like WordFast or Captrack, which costs lesser than SDA Trados and Monopoly. Even if that is not possible, you are a fresher, you are a fresh student, or you are in the first job, I would suggest implement Omega T, which is a free CAT tool. So when we talk about the standard, we are far lagging, far behind the international industry. That is.
That's very true, sir. I have also felt the same thing because although in my last company I was provided with a fully licensed CAT tool by the company, but if it were to be bought solely by me, I don't think I would buy a CAT tool because it's very costly. Maybe about more than my salary of a month. So it is very difficult for young freshers, students to buy the CAT tool with license. But I did not know about the Omega T, which I will definitely share a link on my LinkedIn and YouTube channel, so that the other interested people can go and check it out.
It's Omega T, OMEGAT.org. That is the website. Anyone can download and use it. It is free. It is open source. You don't have to pay any fee. If you feel to donate to them, you can donate some money. They are wonderful people. Even the support team of Omega T, the project team, they are connected with me in LinkedIn and as well as in Twitter. So it is a wonderful tool to start with. See, there are many options. I have published a video also in my YouTube channel telling about the free tool, then mid-range software like Captra and Espresso, WordBus Pro, then high expensive software like MemoQ and SDL products. So I have given a rough idea, a tentative price, and what is the advantage. All this detail I have also published a video in my YouTube channel.
Okay, I would recommend everyone to go check out Sir's YouTube channel. He posts content on language translation and CAT tools. So that would be very helpful for all of you who are interested in making a career in foreign language as a language expert or as a language translator. So I wanted to ask, how much do you think as a beginner a translator can earn in terms of salary? Who starts right from college?
Okay, so it varies quite differently, because I used to think that at least 15,000 or 20,000 per month is the starting salary of a translator. Uh, but sometime I was shocked to see that for Indian languages, even salaries like 7,000 or 8,000 offered, and people were sharing it very sadly in LinkedIn. So it depends on the company. But
Okay.
if someone does a foreign language course like French or German, and if they get good uh, in a decent company, they would certainly get 15,000, 20,000 per month. And sometimes it will be even more nowadays. The job market, the CTC is more. For example, uh, I once one French candidate, she contacted me and asked some guidance about the CTC part. I said, okay, if you are a fresher, you can go like this, something like that. She is a fresher to translation, but she got something like 5.8 lakh or something. Though she is into language field, but she is a fresher to translation. But in a big company, she started with a CTC of 5.8 lakh. So it is a big company like Accenture or CTS, something like that. So right from 7,000, 8,000 by small companies to 5.8 lakh as a beginner translator in a big IT company. It varies. It depends on the company and their needs. Uh, and talking about the career of translator, generally, we don't have a very lengthy span in translation. For example, if you see that job post in any site now, LinkedIn or anywhere, generally you would see that translator with experience 0 to 5 years or maximum 6 years.
Yeah.
Very rarely you would see something more than that, because they don't want to spend more on translation. Majority, there may be 20% minority that would want to spend like big IT companies or big MSC, but generally I'm talking about the 70% cases. So the career of a translator normally it would be like 0 to 6 years or maximum 8 years. So very rarely some company would ask 8 plus years, 10 years like that. You also would have seen in the job markets. So I have worked in many organizations, but now because I started earlier, but now if people start and initially if they start with a high CTC and after 2 years or 5 years, I doubt it will be dated unless they move to managerial role like a TL project manager, something like that. They do some other uh, business related thing and move on to something else. Because just imagine, would a translation company hire someone for with experience more than 8 years, 10 years, and give a huge salary compared to hiring a fresher and give 15K per month or 20K per month into 10 people? So they would train them, mold them to their need. You also would have seen.
Right.
So generally, we can say the career of a translator would be 0 to 6 years or maximum 8 years. That is a bitter fact. After that, one can go into freelance. My suggestion is, if one doesn't shouldn't stick to one thing. See, I was a translator of throughout my 17 years and all, but the suggestion is, if you can teach French, okay, let us say you are a French language student. If you can teach French, okay, do it. If you can go on an interpretation assignment, do it, learn it. Then, if you can do translation, do it. And in the side, if you can learn subtitling and want to do it. Have multiple skill instead of sticking to one, because
Right.
just if you depend on translation, as I said, 1 month you may be earning 20,000, 1 month you may be struggling to earn 5,000. There are people who earn 1 lakh also in freelance, that too for Indian languages like Tamil, Gujarati, like that. I know clients of that sort also, but those are 5% minor. They do excellent quality work. but remaining 80% or 90%, they are struggling to make. And you can see a lot of people commenting interested in any job post, even though the rates offered are pathetic for translation, content writing, subtitling, everything.
Yeah.
So the career is very small. After that, they can go for teaching, or uh, they can go into freelance, but build a solid client database.
Right.
Then only it is better to work on multiple
skills. Yeah.
Instead of just saying I am a teacher, I would teach French. That's all. If teacher students are not there, I will sit idle. No, keep on growing your skill. See, for example, even if I take CAT 2, I started with only Trados from 2010 to almost till 2018, 2019. I was only focused with Trados. I spent like 50,000 for buying all this version. I have the licensed version, just out of passion. Like many people have iPhone addiction. I have Trados addiction. So I spent for 2014, 2015, 17, 19, 21, 2022. I purchased all the licensed versions because I am a mad fan of STL Trados Studio. But later, I expanded my area to other CAT tools also. I launched Omega T CAT course. A lot of people attended during the lockdown time because it's a free software. Not one has to spend 30,000 or something like that. So Omega T. I also focused on other CAT tool. I check any CAT tool, be it anything. Omega T, WordFast, MemoQ, then TMX editor, Aligner, TBX editor, the term-based exchange format editor. I also told you a few minutes back that I also installed the Linux in my laptop and tried to learn a little bit, because whenever we talk about machine translation, these programs are written in Python, and Python works great in Linux. So I installed Linux and crawled, started from scratch like a born baby. So Linux, I also keep exploring Python. So even in CAT tool, I keep on exploring, and I always say, after 10 years of Trados expertise, now only I use the title expert. After working more than 10 years and handling different types of things, I use the word expert only for Trados, not even for French. I I touch every CAT tool. I have used across CAT tool, Omega T, WordFast, Captran Espresso. So the thing is, try to learn more. But the thing is, I have good amount of knowledge, but here the market for CAT tool or knowledge awareness of CAT tool is very less. In the last 2 or 3 years, there was a little bit market about this browser-based online CAT tool. I don't want to give the name. There are some browser-based CAT tools which are backed by machine translation and with additional functionality. But my support, in my personal opinion, my personal favorite would be always the desktop-based CAT tool, because I have the file, TM, everything in my desktop, my control. Even without internet, I can work. And I can have a clear-cut idea of how many words is assigned, how many words I have done, how many is remaining. Whereas when we work in a browser-based CAT tool, I'm not against it, but I would prefer desktop-based CAT tool more and more than a online CAT tool. That is it. So more and more people can work on skill. See, the main problem with Indian translators is comfort zone. See, I'm getting client, I'm getting project, I'm happy with the MS Office. Why do you want CAT tool? Or else they say, I can't spend for translator. I can't spend for buying Trados. Okay, you can't spend for Trados, spend for mid-range CAT tool like Captran. Or WordFast, you can get a 50% discount. Like 18,000, you get WordFast, $230 American dollars. For Indian country, you can get 50% discount. And Captran Espresso, you can use it in lifetime demo mode up to for saving up to 500 segments. Captran also. And Captran, if you try to buy, it will be $80 per year in subscription mode and $200. $200 would come to be around 15,000. Okay. So on the lower end, Omega T is free. then mid-end, Capran, WordPress, then high-end memory SDL products. I'm saying based on the cost and budget. That is so people can try. And when we talk about glossary, use the SDL multi-term terminology. People say, who will validate glossary? Was if you okay, I download the glossary, use it. Even if I don't use the glossary, I'm going to use a dictionary website for translation. Who is going to validate that finally? Whether you use a glossary, Excel glossary, or multi-term term base, or a dictionary term from a dictionary, not Google Translate, from site like Lingua or a Ground Dictionary or whatever. In French, you would have known. So finally, you are going to judge and put the best term, and finally, you are going to deliver that to the client, and client is going to accept this translation or reject the translation. So when we talk CAT tool, I get opposing opinion. CAT tool is a corporate preferred thing, corporate conspiracy. People used to comment like that. See, it is not conspiracy. I myself enjoyed using Trados. I am enjoying, I am upgrading because I enjoy the benefit. And I build a huge term bases. I download the Excel glossary, PDF glossary, everything from internet, convert that to bilingual format, create term bases, attach with Trados. So that if I do any freelancing, I would have 5 lakh term, 2 lakh term basis. It would help me. But whatever I write, if I write about CAT tool, they say there is some, I'm facing negative opinion or trolling behavior. If I try to write about the glossary, people say, who is going to validate? If we are going to use CAT tool, you won't see the context. Okay. In Trados, if you say preview, you would see the preview of the file. That while translating, you can see the preview of the Word file or InDesign file. Word file in the thing. So you can see the preview. You won't lose the context. You don't have to separately open. So instead of giving lame excuses and being stuck in a comfort zone, it is better to come out and try these things. Absolutely. Be it CAT tool, be it glossary. When we ask a lot of translator, they say, what is glossary? I use a 1 or 2 dictionary site. First, 1 or 2 site cannot work. Okay, for example, word reference will work for only verbs, generic verb. And if you want to use terminology thing, there was Ground Dictionary. Now the name has changed, and there is Lingua, Lingue. There is also reverse glossary. And certainly, Google Translate is not meant for a professional translator unless you want to have an overall idea of the paragraph. So people say, I'm using only 2 sites. No, don't have 2 sites. Depending on the domain and need, use many sites, use many glossary. Then only you can get the thing. So the main point is, do not be stuck like a frog in a bell or be in a comfort zone. If you come out of that, you can learn a lot and more. So that would be my humble suggestion to people, because not only about CAT tool, but also learning how to type faster, or how to, for example, international translators are using dictation software like Dragon Professional. Okay, it is expensive. If we can't afford Dragon Professional, use the dictation software available freeware and use dictation, so that instead of typing the translation, you dictate it, it will type faster. And one of my friend who is a senior Tamil translator, he said dictation works faster than typing. So we can try. So a lot of things are there, but instead of getting stuck in comfort zone, I would suggest people to learn new skill and grow. That is it.
I definitely agree with you there. I just have last 2 questions, which I think everybody would ask from you. The first is, how long would it take to develop a basic, intermediate level expertise in CAT tools so that you can use it for translation? So how much time you need to spend using CAT tools to develop the understanding of all the features and, functionality? And the second is, what are the charges for freelance translators? Do they charge per word basis or do they charge project basis? what is the payment criteria for freelancers? So that's what I wanted.
Okay, so more or less, first about the cat tool, more or less all the cat tool have some common feature. So every cat tool will have a TM, every cat tool mostly will have a glossary,
Yeah.
because without TM it is like a man without a brain, a
Yeah.
human being without a brain. So TM is the brain of cat tool. Okay, so generally let us take, if you take Omega T, which is a free software, it would take uh, 3 or 4 sessions in training. Explore that 3 to maximum 5 days or 1 week. You can get a good idea. Just you can learn it. One can watch YouTube videos or one can go through the tutorial. Generally, any tutorial of cat tool, it will be very lengthy, 100, 300 pages. No one would read. So one can watch a YouTube video. For example, Trados. In case of Trados, SDL regularly conducts webinar every month. Every month there will be 3 to 4 webinar or even more for Trados feature. Though there won't be in-depth training, but one can learn the basic feature and one can learn additional plugin that can be used. So one can learn from the tutorial, one can learn from the YouTube, one can learn from SDL webinar. Similarly, WordFast, MemoQ. If you are in LinkedIn, you can follow their pages and attend their free webinar and get the idea. So, getting a basic idea of any cat tool, it will not take more than 5 days or 7 days. But for example, if someone comes to me for a cat tool training, let us say Trados, mostly I deal Trados and optionally Omega T. Other training I announced, but only when there is demand, people will come. So mainly Trados, and from 2020, I run Omega T also. So when they come for a Trados training, normally I teach in 3 to 5 sessions. So 1 hour session, 1.5 hour session, or maximum 2 hours. So if we consider 5 sessions, it will be maximum 8 hours or 10 hours. So I give like 60% of the menu in the Trados in my training. After that, lot of things you will learn by practicing, and because we can't teach. For example, I have been learning Trados for 10 years. I can't teach the 10 years of experience in 5 hours or 10 hours. Lot of things lot of issue you will face, and that sort of experience will come by practical working only. For example, let us say everyone knows Excel sheet. When you use the Excel sheet whose name is more than 255 characters, Trados will throw a error. So this experience for a beginner you would not know. Only when you face a Excel sheet with the worksheet name more than 250 characters, you will face a problem. Another example, someone stored their client file in the desktop folder. They said they are getting access error in Trados. So I connected with them. I said, I just moved the file and the project and everything to D drive, because when we save the file in C drive, in particular desktop folder, Trados will give some sort of access issue or sometimes TM corrupt error or read issue. Better, because C drive is somewhat restricted, it is meant for software installation, OS installation and software installation. So when you are a freelance translator or anyone who comes to me for cat tool training or who talks to me, any translator, I always suggest never save any file in C drive. Be it C drive, my document, desktop, no. Save it in D drive, E drive, F drive. Because if your OS crashes, they will format everything, your data, everything will be gone. So this type of thing, the 250 characters, giving a problem. And Trados won't give it very straightforward. It will say object not set to and reference of an instance. You would wonder what language is this. So these things you will learn by practical working only. That character limit. Sometimes when your file path is more C drive, user slash something, this path goes higher. Then if it goes beyond 255 characters, sometimes that also may cause error. If your file is in desktop, that may cause error. Okay, so these type of thing we can't teach everything in a course. So the basic bread and butter understanding. For example, let us consider English. English has crores of words, but how many words do we use? 5,000? No. Mostly it is 500 words. Only 500 words we use in our everyday communication. We do not know crores and crores of words. Like that, the basic bread and butter, that is what is a CAT tool, what is the concept, what is a TM, and what is term-based. Glossary converted to CAT tool format is called terminology database, which is term-based. That is Excel glossary in CAT tool format. So these things, and how to create a TM, how to do a translate single document option in Trados, how to create a Trados project, and how to create a term base and use it with this thing, and how to use additional feature. So some 50 to 60% of thing I can teach in my course in 4 to 5 sessions, and I give support like 10 days support, 15 days support after the course, like that. So generally, if anyone wants to learn CAT tool, I already said about the resources. You can search in Google, you can use the user guide or tutorial, you can watch YouTube and SDL conducts webinar. You can also search SDL recorded webinar. So you would get recorded past webinar and you can watch it. Every webinar would range from 45 minutes to 90 minutes. They would teach very nicely and you can learn things if you have passions. Like that word fast training, everything is there in YouTube to some extent. 100% knowledge won't be there. There will be some knowledge in YouTube. There will be there in WordFast, MMQ site, and also in LinkedIn. They keep announcing the webinar. So these are the methods of free learning. Then next method is do the trial and error method and use CAT tool. Then you can take official certification, that is like SDL authorized certification, MMQ certified trainer thing. Last option, you may come to people like me also who are freelance trainer with experience. That is it. So generally, it won't take more than 7 to 10 days. But the basic need is, it is not rocket science. Trados is complex, but it is not rocket science. The main thing is, if you have the basic computer literacy, copy paste this, that is enough. So these things are not high level Oracle database query mainframe. No, nothing. See, we are going to create a TM, then create a project, use it. It is the same in WordFast, Trados, MemoQ, MemSource, everything. It is going to be the same one. Okay, so 5 days to 10 days, depending on the person's understanding and grasping. Some people may not be comfortable with the technical thing. For some people, Trados is easy. For some people, Trados is a nightmare. That's for anyone. That is it. I hope I answered your question.
The second question was about the payment, freelance translation.
Okay, so this is actually a very difficult question because the cost of any commodity got increased, our salary increased, and prices of goods, everything increased. The only one thing that is never increased or one that has decreased is the translation rate around the world. Because, for example, when I did freelance translation in the year 2011, without knowing anything about freelance, I worked for 70 paise per word for French to English translation.
75 paise.
70 paise.
Okay.
In 2014, I worked for something like 1 rupee per word. And even now, nowadays I don't do freelancing at all. I focus on CAT tool and learning more. Uh, the thing is, uh, there may be 5% or 10% translator who are charging very good rate, like 2 rupees, 3 rupees. There are people who charge 2 rupees, 3 rupees and more, but that is only 5% or not more than 10%. The remaining 90%, you can say the average rate is like 1 rupee. This is my limited view. I may be wrong also. See, I am telling things based on my limited view of the industry over the last 10 years or 15 years. I may be partially right, totally wrong, or fully correct also. It depends. I'm telling that also. I have seen people that I charge 5 rupees, 6 rupees kind of translators also. Maybe I didn't focus much on freelancing because I have been in full-time job. So I was not very vigorous about freelancing. I didn't do much marketing. I didn't contact too many companies. I contacted a lot of companies, only very few responded. So I was not very vigorous. So in my opinion, in my experience, generally, I was struggling to get 1 rupee or 2 rupees. Okay, in French to English, 1 rupee. If you give 1 rupee per word, okay. Anything below that, okay. No, I stopped the freelance. People were asking for 80 paise. French to English, 80 paise. English to French, 90. English to French to English, 90 paise. English to French, it's difficult. 80 paise. I used to do that day and night. They would dump a lot of work. Then I gave up. So I didn't do much. I worked with a few clients only. Now I almost stopped. I'm learning new things, as I said already. So with my limited view, I would say anything around 1 rupee would be better. But in the last few years, particularly after the lockdown started, the exploitation also started too much. Because, for example, translation, minimum it should be 1 rupee, but it went down to 70 paise, 50 paise, even 20 paise. Subtitling, transcription per minute, it should be 100 rupees, 150 rupees. It went to 80 rupees, 50 rupees, 20 rupees per minute. 1 minute of video, if you want to subtitle it, you have to watch it multiple times. Or if you want to transcribe it also, you have to watch it. Though there are transcription software that will transcribe, we also have to put a lot of efforts. Let us say in 1 minute there will be 400 to 700 words, and if they pay you 50 rupees and 20 rupees, what is the cost per word? It's very pathetic. So the lockdown time, things have gone drastically bad. That is racing towards the bottom.
Right.
That sort of things has happened. So in my opinion, if you are a translator, anything around 1 rupee would be better. But let us put one question. I, with 15 years of experience, would prefer 1 rupee or 150, or else I won't freelance. But if you are a fresher, can you consider 1 rupee? Will the company provide the same 1 rupee to me and a fresher? So it also varies with experience. When you have completed a language study or translation study, better try to get the training from the college itself. Then, if possible, try to get an internship or do a mentorship where you would be paid internship or it would be unpaid internship. That is up to you. So learn the skill initially. One may have to work at a very low salary or unpaid thing. I'm not suggesting or recommending anything, but learn the skill. And remember that 1 rupee or 2 rupees may not be applicable for a person of zero experience to 10 years. Depending on experience, depending on your skill set, it varies. So we can't say, we cannot recommend a common rate for everyone. So think about your level. Are you a fresher? Are you in your first job? Or have you worked for 2 companies in 2 years? You have 2 years of experience. Now can you think about 1 rupee? But anyway, after 2 years, if you can get 1 rupee per word, okay, good. But after 10 years, don't think you would get 5 rupees. No, that is not. That is very rare. I said 5% only. There are people, professional translator with great marketing and marketing channel who got foreign client. That sort of thing is only 5%. Remaining 80-90%, they are struggling around this 20 paise to 1 rupee only. Okay, so a decent rate would be 80 paise, 1 rupee. 1 rupee is considered to be a decent, but always consider about your expertise. Just you are a fresher, you are going to translate. Some people's translation, because I sometimes get Trados tasked to handle the file, Trados file to non-Trados file, and non-Trados and create a non-Trados file that goes to translator and comes back. Actually, some agency approached me for this type of thing due to my Trados expertise. When I see this translation, sometimes these are very pathetic. Lot of mistake. No formatting is not taken care. Then even spacing error not taken care. Sometimes we doubt whether they have done a full spell check, grammar check. So people are very careless. Like just they do the thing, throw it, dump it. I want payment. No payment, write in LinkedIn. See, we see only one side of the coin. So that common rate, we cannot fix it in a general level. And many translation, when I see, I was really shocked how come people are so careless and they are not ethical, professional and all. That is also there.
That's true. That's true, and very common. I think that is why even the good translators don't get work if they are not very much.
Because pressure, someone without realizing the worth of translation and the value, they say, I'm ready to do even for 50 paise. I am ready to work for 1 or 2 free projects. Then you give me project. People are desperate.
Yeah.
Don't be so desperate. Demonstrate your skill.
Right.
At the initial level, do some mentorship. As I said, paid or unpaid, that is up to you. Or work in first job. Learn the skill. Learn the art of translation. Then growth will come. If you put the hard work and consistency is maintained in the work, not only in the translation, it will come. So just like that, people are, you can see, commenting everywhere interested. Send details to my email. So not only language skill, communication skill, how do we approach the client? We cannot command. We cannot command the agency. See, when an agency posts a job, there will be 80 to 200 people commenting. They cannot check every email and send details to this thing, and they are not meant to serve you. If you want thing, you note down the email. Even though email is published, they say send details to XYZ. So a lot of things matter. That is, have a professional email. Many times I find the email are like the name, then 756 at gmail.com. 65780. What is this number? Make it professional. If possible, have a domain. And or just buy at least have something like translation or Govind French. At least have like this. What is the 756, 758, 65, 786 in the email? Some name, this number at. It also keeps changing. Why is it? It's not professional. Just to make it, have a professional email address, a decent level, or else buy an email hosting. If you want to grow better, just have a website, have social media marketing. See, I have a website, I have a YouTube. I'm not spending much in digital marketing. I am doing the post, I am doing the YouTube, whatever I can. I am the A to Z of my cat tool guide. That is it. It's a one-man show, be it YouTube or this thing. If you can afford, have a website, have a professional email, have a proper social media, do the marketing. It should not be always outbound thing, like commenting interested, send me detail. It has to be inbound. See, when people see my post, one day or other, or even after 6 months or after 1 year, people come to me. I have been watching your post for a long time. It is very good. So can you suggest me a cat tool? I want to learn Trados. People come after 1 year, 2 years after watching my post. I'd be surprised. So even though there is no big audience, I keep doing my micro step like that. I started my YouTube channel. I never thought I would get even 10 people, but today I have something like 171 or 175 subscribers. It is not thousands or lakhs, but purely by my scrolling, my crawling, my hard work. I brought from 1 to 175. For me, it is a big achievement.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that. So people have to have many things: good communication skill, proper email, a website, a social media marketing, and if you are committed to deadline, deliver the file before that. If there's going to be a delay, inform it. Because when I talk to agency, agency people are telling, see, he attended the call yesterday, today he is not attending. This type of things.
Yeah, it happens.
Better. After 2 days, a big project is given. After 2 days, from the third day, fourth day, translator is not picking the call. What would the agency understand? Will they complete the project or not complete? Like that. So many qualities along with the language and translation still matter in translation. That is one point to the new people.
Absolutely. And I think that causes problem for the good translators, because then it creates a bad image for the translators as a whole community, and companies generally hesitate to reach to Indian translators. They rather prefer some foreign translators instead of Indian translators. Yes, I think that is a problem. So yes, I think apart from the language expertise, you also need to have the professional ethics that is required to be in this job. So I think we discussed quite a long thing about great insights about the translations, and I really learned a lot by talking to you, sir. I'm really thankful that you took out some time for someone like me. I just messaged you on LinkedIn and you accepted my invitation. So I really thank you for that. And I will post this video on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and I will share the links and the details.
Yeah, you have my email. So see, it is not I am big, you are small, nothing like that. For example, if your experience is 5 years and if I have 17 years, it is I'm a senior colleague. That's all. People say you are like a doctor. Boss, I am not expert. I am not born with a great IQ, with a great 98% score. I am an average learner only. By hard work, I learned Trados and I kept exploring Trados and other cat tool. So when sometimes pressure says, sir, what would you suggest about cat tool or translation? People asking LinkedIn, I say, see, you are a junior colleague, I'm a senior colleague. We are colleagues in the same industry. And I'm not a doctorate. I am a learning student. I am by age, I am 45. But when it comes to learning, I keep that 20 or 22 age mindset. Even now, I study things in YouTube, or I watch SDL webinar. I study, even started studying about Python programming using Python books. So I am a thirsty, knowledge thirst person with a little bit knowledge thirst. That is it. So we are just colleagues of the same industry, translation industry.
Absolutely, sir. This is
so I would sincerely thank you for giving the opportunity, and it is very nice. And you also asked a lot of questions that made me think, and it extracted many experience and answers from me. So I would thank you for this opportunity. And,
thank you, sir. And I hope in the future also you will come if there is anything requirement of language related tools and translation, you will come and enlighten the viewers and the listeners about your knowledge.
Yes, certainly. Whatever I know, I don't mind sharing to some extent. So I have some limited knowledge. Whatever knowledge I keep sharing. I have written around 900 posts with whatever available little knowledge. I'm trying to write posts in LinkedIn. I know post
And I would
something.
also ask the audience to follow Govind sir on LinkedIn. He is very active on LinkedIn. I follow him. And sir, if you want to say something in the end about your YouTube or LinkedIn, you can say to the audience.
Nothing special. So I have said the recommendation about being a professional translator, like the qualities, professional qualities I have already explained. And also main thing is come out of the comfort zone. Comfort zone is
Absolutely.
comfortable.
Very
Come out
important.
of that, have the professional qualities. Always never feel that, see, now I can say, I have done 17 years of translation. You know what? Don't have that ego. Throw it out. I am a fresher. I am learning. I am experienced. Okay, I am learning. I am a student. I am student forever. Have that humble mindset. Keep on learning. We can keep on
Absolutely.
learning. Keep on. There is no end to learning, upskilling, upgrading. We can keep on learning. Keep on learning something. Keep upskilling. Don't waste time. That is it. So there are a lot of things to learn in translation language. Improve your language, improve your communication skill, improve the technology, adapt the technology. Now see, when agencies talk to me, they are saying we are not able to find translator with Trados skill.
Yeah.
What can I do? Can you convert the Trados package to non word file so that we can send it to translate? So they are searching. When majority of people are without Trados, without cat tool knowledge, if you get equipped with cat tool, you would have a more higher probability. You would have upper hand than others.
Absolutely.
That is what I would say. Thank you, everyone, and I wish you all the best to Rohan, and I wish every translator a wonderful career.
Thank you so much, sir. Nice talking. Thank you so much. See you
Okay,
in the next videos.
okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, sir. Bye.
Yeah, bye.